Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Vacheron Constantin Patrimony Contemporaine Automatic, reference 85180 triple aught G, 40 millimeters in 18 karat white gold. This watch represents the modern face of the haute de gamme men's simple dress watch. Now, on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that this watch absolutely fits the part. Very thin, only 8.55 millimeters thick, and with a slightly cradled back, it actually nestles a little bit into the skin and sits barely 6 or 7 millimeters above the wrist. It even features a very steeply sloped crystal and bezel for good measure, so even as low as it sits, effectively it sits even lower to slip under a dress cuff. Now, when this watch debuted in the mid-2000s, the automatic version came out in 2006, it was a bit of a controversial piece because the idea of a 40 millimeter traditional flat dress watch, well, some considered it to be a bit of a heresy, so to speak, because traditional watches were 34, 35, 36 millimeters in diameter at most. But you can see, even though my wrist is fairly small, again, only 16 centimeters in circumference, the span of the lugs, the span of the case, it's all in proportion, and beautifully so. This is what a modern, expressive dress wristwatch should look like. Also very practical. The combination of center seconds, a date window, and automatic winding makes this a watch you could wear every day. Very comfortable. It features a nice flat, unbolstered, but very high quality combination alligator and calfskin leather strap. Very comfortable. Vacheron goes with a matching 18 karat white gold Maltese cross motif pin buckle that really fits the watch in terms of character, comfort, and quality. Now, the case itself is very upscale. It features nice rounded, actually inverted rounded sides, so you can see how it actually tapers as it moves down away from the bezel. It falls away to look even thinner when it's on the wrist than it actually is. It's a nice visual, almost optical illusion that really plays to the watch's advantage. You can see that the lugs in traditional fashion are mostly straight, but with a little bit of tumble home from side to side and curvature as they extend out away from the case. Like some large sports watches, this watch has been fitted with very short, close coupled lugs so that it wears essentially as a cushion. Just the case, just the round portion, and very little else. Now, moving inboard from the superb finish and the complex curvature of the full polished white gold case, you can see that the dial itself is broader, more expressive. It has more real estate and room to stretch out and accentuate its features than a tighter, more crowded traditional 36, 35, 34 millimeter watch could afford its dial. It is a very subtle graining of a silvered matte finish. That's the base of the watch, but all the applied indices, the hands, and of course the Maltese cross logo at 12 o'clock are applied white gold, high polish. They really catch the light beautifully, and they give the watch just enough animation to make its presence felt without being outlandish, without being extrovert. Now, it does feature polished elements around the minute track, and I'll try to get those to reflect light on the iPhone. That's always a challenge. But what they do is they essentially light up like individual luminescent pearls as the watch moves through the light, and they really give the watch a unique and becoming character. This is a watch that has a lot of subtle charisma. It ingratiates itself the more you really let in its charms. This is a very subtle watch in the tradition of the 50s, of the 60s, the great dress references that helped to make the House of Vacheron a legend in modern times. All of that is at play here, and this watch references many of the great mid-century references from Geneva. But perhaps the greatest homage to the Geneva tradition is found on the case back itself. In the mid-2000s, this watch served as the launch platform for Vacheron's in-house automatic winding caliber 2450 series, and that's what we have right here. The 2450 Q6 40-hour power reserve, entirely in-house, very thin. This watch features a modern 4 Hz or 28,800 vibration beat rate. When you pull the crown, it does stop the balance and hack the seconds for precise synchronization. So while it is finely finished, it's also very contemporary. Now, it has high-efficiency unidirectional winding via unlubricated, sealed-for-life, maintenance-free ceramic rotor bearings. So you really see traditional Geneva seal finishing quality here, complete with guilloche rotor, beautiful mirrored anglage, tight baseplate perlage, coexisting with modern watchmaking technology and refinements. Now, everything about this watch is gorgeous. Everything about this watch is what you would expect from a Vacheron, whether made in 1950 or just the last couple of months. And this particular watch features a particularly gorgeous treatment of the stud holder on the escapement, black polish, a Vacheron house specialty, also known as poly noir. When you get up close to this watch, you can see how the screw heads and that stud holder reflect light in only one direction, so that from most angles they appear black, hence the name black polish. But when you turn them just the right way, they explode with a reflective radiance that's stunning and surprising. And there are a lot of surprises throughout this movement. The standard of finish is equally on par with the best you'll see from the likes of Roger Dubuis, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, and of course, because Vacheron Constantin is in the city of Geneva proper, it does bear the famed poinçon. Another element, a 22-karat gold winding rotor. These days you see a lot of companies fitting only a gold winding mass, and sometimes that end mass is only 21 carats. Vacheron executes the entire assembly in gold, with the majority of the mass favored on the outside, the entirety hand-finished, and 22-karat gold, the highest standard that you'll see used in a winding mass, is employed in the execution. Little refinements like that make the difference and help to explain the appeal and the beauty of a Geneva seal watch. Geneva seal in-house movement on the inside, classic Vacheron style on the outside, with modern proportions and detailing that lives up to the legend of this Swiss Holy Trinity high-horology founding member. Along with Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet, these are the companies that have defined the haute de gamme, not just in complication, but in fit, finish, feel, and character. It doesn't get any more traditional than this, albeit with modern proportions, practicality, and reliability to suit the modern lifestyle. This is the Vacheron Constantin Patrimony Contemporaine Automatic in 18-karat white gold on our website, Watch You Want.